Today, I want to talk to you about 4 lies that we are sold about procrastination and that you probably believe. If you don't know me, I am Dina Cataldo. I am a coach for lawyers. I help them make their lives easier. I work specifically with mindset and I help them make their practice easier, make growing their practice easier, and basically just enjoy their lives a whole lot more. What I want to share with you is that when we are taught about procrastination, we're generally taught that it is a bad thing. We're not taught why it happens. We're not taught about the brain processes that are happening in our mind when we procrastinate. Instead, we are told that there's something wrong with us, that it's bad. And when we judge something harshly like that, we don't make any change. We don't change how we look at it, and we definitely don't change our behavior. And our behavior is not getting something done. And if we don't change our behavior, we're not going to make it easier for us to get things done in our law practice. So, this is where I want to just start baseline with this video, okay? What I want to show you is that procrastination does not have to be the big bad. It can simply be a signpost to help you recognize that there's something going on in your brain. Because every time we have a thought, we have a feeling associated with that thought. We literally have neurotransmitters in our brain that activate chemical reactions in our body. And those chemical reactions in our body are the feelings that we have. And when we have a feeling, it's going to direct us to either take action or not take action. And when we're not taking action, right, procrastinating, we're having a feeling that had started with a thought in our brain that made it so that we just froze. Okay, that's what procrastination, that's the cause of procrastination. There's nothing wrong with you. It is a natural biological reaction to a thought you're having in your brain. So you are 100% normal. Nothing is wrong with you. You ever thought that? Did you ever think, like, maybe there's something wrong with me? Yeah, me too. I practiced 15 years as a criminal prosecutor. And early on in my career, I noticed myself procrastinating on things. And it wasn't until I got the mindset tools that I'm going to be sharing in my masterclass this upcoming Thursday that I started to change things. And when I started to change things, that's when my life became so much easier. I started recognizing the thoughts that I was having and the repercussions that it was having in my body, and then as it flowed through my actions or my inactions. And if you want to learn the skills that I learned to do trials without the stress, to build a business on top of my full-time law career, to have a podcast, all of that at the same time and not be stressing myself out, to be taking action even when I didn't feel like it, then I want to invite you to my masterclass. It's called Bye Bye Burnout, and you can sign up at dinacataldo.com/calendar masterclass. Sign up. You are going to get all the things that you need to start moving forward, to start taking action. Okay, so let's talk about the 4 lies that you probably believe about procrastination. Number 1, you're lazy, right? That is the number 1 lie we are sold about what procrastination means about us, that there's something wrong with us, that we're just lazy. You are not lazy. I guarantee you, if you are watching this, you are a lawyer who has worked your butt off in law school. You have been grinding to get things done in your practice, and now you want to learn how to do things better. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is working as it was designed. The only thing that is happening is that you're not aware of the thoughts that are generating the feelings that are freezing you, preventing you from taking action the way that you want to, whether it's in your practice, in your business. So just know that nothing has gone wrong, okay? You are not lazy. You're not a bad person. You simply have a human brain and you haven't learned to manage it yet. It's not like we get an owner's manual for our brain. And when I found coaching and learned how to manage my brain, learned to see the thoughts, creating the feelings, and causing my procrastination, then I could do something about it. But it wasn't until I recognized it was a total lie that I was lazy. That's literally what I was telling myself, that I was lazy, that I was bad, that something had gone wrong. So that's the first lie I want to dispel here. Nothing has gone wrong. You just haven't learned the tools yet to manage your mind. The second lie that I want to share with you is that procrastination can help you get more done. Have you ever thought this, right? Like you're in the office, you've been putting off an assignment for days, maybe even weeks, and yet you seem to get it all done the night before, and it's done in record time. Amazing, right? It's not magic, it's adrenaline. And that adrenaline is what pushed you to get the work done. And the adrenaline was something caused by worry and fear. And we used to have, in the olden days, right, we used to have things to really be scared of. Saber-toothed tigers, for instance. We don't have those things anymore. So now what do we have? We have deadlines. That's the big fear. But when we rely on adrenaline to get things done in our practice, we make our lives miserable. We think sometimes that if we just keep putting it off, I'll get it done. I'll do an all-nighter. And yeah, it's going to be hard, but I'm going to do it anyway, and at least it'll get done. Versus taking control of your time, taking control of your mind, and getting the work done ahead of time. And your life would have been so much easier, right? You wouldn't have had to skip the gym. You wouldn't have had to ignore your kids or your partner. You wouldn't have had to just eat Snicker bars instead of, having a real meal, right? You could then design the life that you wanted if you thought about it ahead of time. But the procrastination puts you in that freeze mode. And so you keep putting things off, putting things off, putting things off. Again, nothing wrong with you. It's just a function of our brain when we don't know how to manage it that we put these things off and then we rely on the adrenaline rush. Procrastinating does not create the ideal situation for getting things done, my friend. I know, I've done this many times myself. And when I stopped doing it, when I started to manage my mind and to recognize how I was creating the situation I was in, I could make my life so much easier. And that adrenaline rush also has health consequences. How do I know this? Because I was diagnosed with breast cancer at 29 years old. And it was right smack dab in my trial career when I was getting started. And I was working day and night, procrastinating to get things done, right? Staring at a blank screen and not knowing how to manage my mind. And when we cause that adrenaline rush in our body, it's 100% unnatural when it is sustained. Now, if it was back in the day and we were just, running away from a saber-toothed tiger, that adrenaline is going to dissipate. It's going to naturally come out of our body. But because we're in a legal practice where most of us don't know how to manage our minds and we are in this heightened state of not even awareness, it's just this heightened state of alertness. We have this adrenaline coursing through our veins all the time. And if you've ever ruminated at night thinking about work, you are constantly feeding that adrenaline, that fear response, right? Because freezing is a fight, flight, or freeze response. It is an adrenaline response, a fear response. So if you're procrastinating, procrastination is a fear response. And until you recognize the thoughts generating the fear, you're not going to be able to take control and manage your time effectively. Instead, you're going to be relying on the adrenaline and you're going to be putting yourself at risk. Not only that, but think about the long-term impact on your calendar and your time. When you're not managing your time effectively and instead you're waiting until the night before to get things done, you're putting things off week and day by day and week by week. you're not actually managing your time effectively. So you're always going to feel behind. You're always going to be sacrificing something that you could have been doing today to make your life easier because you didn't do the things the week before that were going to make your life easier today. So rather than sacrificing your life ahead of time, start to recognize that this is just a mind, something that's going on in your brain, creating the fear, and then you can begin to release the procrastination. And we're going to be talking about how to do that in the Calendar Masterclass. So be sure to sign up. You could see the link in the comments below. Okay, the third lie about procrastination that you probably believe is that if you had more willpower, that you wouldn't procrastinate. Well, we already know that that's not true. Because if it's something that's going on in our mind, creating fear, our action is going to be determined by how we feel. And if we are feeling fear and we are then in a freeze response, we're not going to be taking action. Willpower, there's a thought that a lot of us have is that, well, if we could just have enough willpower to push ourselves through the procrastination, that then everything would be fine, right? But I just need to be able to generate the willpower to do it. I mean, you can do that, but then you're pushing yourself, you're pressuring yourself, you're stressing yourself out, and you're likely going to hate your life. You're not going to enjoy your practice. You're not going to enjoy how you show up for the people around you. And one of the things that I know from working with my clients, from living my life and understanding how procrastination has showed up in my life, is that I do not like how I show up as a human being when I am pressuring myself to do anything. I snap at the people around me. I'm resentful, right? Those feelings are horrible, right? We feel guilty because we're snapping at people. It does not create a sustainable life for us where we can have great relationships with the people around us or with ourselves because we're not happy with how we're showing up for ourselves. Willpowering through the work is not the answer to procrastination. Okay, the answer to procrastination is learning how to manage your mind so you can see what's happening and start to have the conversations you need with yourself to move yourself forward. I'm going to teach you how to do that in the masterclass. So sign up for the masterclass, dinacataldo.com/calendar masterclass. All right, number 4, the last one, the last lie about procrastination, that you probably believe, that planning helps end procrastination. You might believe that if you just figured out how to make a calendar, then that would end procrastination. You just do it. I am here to tell you that that does not end procrastination. You could put everything that you want on your calendar. It does not mean that you're going to get it done. You've probably had this experience yourself. Even if you don't have a calendar and you have a to-do list instead, you will have something on the to-do list and your brain is like, I do not want to do that. And you put it off and you put it off and you put it off, and that to-do list item gets pushed off day after day and week after week. I want you to know that that is normal, okay? Nothing has gone wrong. Remember, this is all mindset. This is all about the thought happening in your head, creating the fear, generating the freeze response where you're procrastinating. It has nothing to do with your ability to run a calendar. Because you can create the most beautiful calendar in the world, but if you don't recognize the thoughts you're having about the task at hand, if you can't see what's going on in your brain creating the fear response, you will not do the project until the very last minute. And then you're relying upon adrenaline instead of planning your week intentionally, instead of planning your life intentionally. Imagine how you would show up if you did what you had on your calendar. Imagine how you would feel if you were no longer relying on adrenaline to push you through the night before a deadline to get things done. Imagine that if you just recognized what you were believing about yourself, right? If you could just understand what was going on in your mind, creating this procrastination, and you could just manage it, that you could control the actions that you take. How amazing would that be? What kind of freedom might that give you? Can you imagine that freedom, that feeling that you have the control that you want over your life? That's the kind of freedom that I'm offering you in the masterclass. Sign up for Bye Bye Burnout. You're going to learn how to set the boundaries that you need so that you're not working all night and all day. You're going to learn how to end procrastination so that you aren't relying on deadlines to get work done and you're not blaming yourself for not working hard enough, because I guarantee you that you're working hard, probably too hard, and that you're not recognizing what you need and then taking what you need. And I'm also going to be talking about how to end perfectionism, because so often perfectionism plays a role in why we procrastinate. And I'm going to talk to you about that too. So I invite you to sign up for the Calendar Masterclass. Go to dinacataldo.com/calendar masterclass. This is going to change everything for you. Show up, just listen to how your brain works, because we're going to talk about how your brain works, how it processes information, how it generates the feelings in our body, including fear, that then generate inaction like procrastination. So sign up and I will see you there. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.